Hello everyone. Oh, it's been another exciting week in the video games because apparently the first quarter of 2013 can't be quiet. John Riccitiello, who has been the head of EA since 2007, he was actually the head of EA in years prior to that as well, he resigns. EA's been having a lot of challenges financially. Obviously they're embroiled in this ridiculous thing that's happening with SimCity, which is frustrating and kind of shocking all at the same time. The internet feels they won and they proved that microtransactions and SimCity have thrown a man out. There might be some kernel of truth to that, but I want to offer, probably at the disgust of a lot of you out there, something of a reassessment of the legacy of John Riccitiello. There's a lot of things that have frustrated me about EA, and in large part, it's not so much their decisions in so much as the way that they seem to be explaining them and delivering them to consumers out there. Microtransactions, I still believe it's within EA's right. It isn't something that necessarily can break a game, but it does feel a little bit crass and a little bit crude the way that they're implemented, and that they have these executives that keep on speaking at investor meetings saying all games will be online, all games will have microtransactions. Yes, games are a business, but we do want to believe in the artistic element of it, and I do think there are elements of EA that do believe in that, but those kind of words, that messaging that's out there, it really reinforces the sense that it is only about business, that they're trying to get every last dime and dollar out of your pocket, and it does make the experience of playing their games a little bit more, I don't know, separated from the sense of what should be the innate pleasure of it. Whenever I would hear people that worked at EA talk about Riccitiello, they referred to him as JR. There was kind of a casual relationship. But the thing that I heard every time since he started in 2007 was that he plays games, that he could look at the business from the eyes of a gamer. In contrast, Bobby Kotick, head of Activision, has very proudly said he doesn't play games because apparently it plays on his addictive sensibilities, which is the nature of the drug that he's pushing to the consumers in the form of video games. Anyway, beside that, he was a gamer. And if you look at it from that vantage point, some of the financial decisions that were made by Riccitiello as he was leading EA looked like good ideas to a gamer that did not play out very well in terms of sales. There's Brutal Legend, which was a great idea and didn't seem to exactly find an audience. There was also Mirror's Edge, a game I was so excited about myself. Once again, a little bit too oblique, a little bit too strange, and not all that perfect, couldn't find an audience. And probably the biggest financial mistake possible was the Old Republic. That took too long to come out, was probably too similar to World of Warcraft, and was released in an era where people didn't want to pay subscription fees anymore, was such a mess, such a disaster, despite even the quality of the game, that it was already showing that the bottom line of EA was getting softer and softer. And then SimCity rolls around, as big as the sales were for that, it was almost essential that he was going to have to go. I'm actually more surprised he survived as long as he did. I guess what I'm saying is go back prior to when he started. We had the Batman Begins game. We had the Catwoman game. There was a lot of crap coming out of Electronic Arts, and what did follow was not always successful, but is far more interesting and far more healthy for the game industry. I'm not saying he's a great guy. I'm not saying that doves fly out of his ass, but I think for a moment, Mr. Internet, take a step back. What he did wasn't all that bad, and who we could get could make it a lot worse. All right, for the questions, I'm just going to sort of answer some things that have filtered in, both on YouTube and on Twitter, about the idea of exclusive reviews. This obviously is very present because IGN, congratulations to them, got to have an exclusive review window on BioShock Infinite from Thursday of last week all the way to Monday today, when our review has now gone up, and please go check it out. There's two things here. I know there's a lot of speculation that somehow this gives the impression that the review has been bought, that there's pressure and it has to be a good review. I have absolute confidence in the ethical standards of my colleagues, be it at IGN or any other outlet. But having said that, I have an issue with exclusive reviews. One is a business one. We do see an effect upon how much traffic and how many views we get on our reviews if something has been sitting out there for the previous 4 days with footage, with stuff covering the game. So yeah, I have a personal investment right there. But on the other hand, it's also one of, I guess, dignity. It's a little emasculating when I'm sitting here and I've had an opinion about a game and someone's sharing it out there, and because I've signed an NDA and I'm honoring the agreement I made with the publisher, I have to keep my mouth shut. it doesn't have a precedent in other coverage of other media. I don't see it in books, I don't see it in music, I don't see it in movies. And it really does help redefine in other people's eyes that there's something juvenile, there's something not to be taken seriously about the game industry. When you have a publisher of a game that is very, very good, that is somehow trying to jerry-rig the process of discussion and opinion about the game, it gives the indication that there's something to hide, which makes this all the more bizarre. Because it is a very, very good game, and why would a marketing team at a publisher not want to have a panoply of opinion out there that is praising the game? Because I'm assuming at this point that most people really found something to appreciate in BioShock Infinite. And especially for 2K, who upon the release of BioShock all those years back, saw a tick upwards in the stock value of Take-Two Interactive just on the backs of the positive reviews and acclaim that that game had gotten. I think the bitter irony here is that BioShock Infinite was one of a handful of games that were so present in my mind that I wanted to stay covering the game industry after the experience at G4 that, you know, that's why I came back. And then to see that very, very game suddenly engage in this weird, crass, craven marketing and remind me that the art that's there is so overtaken by the business side of things, well, it also reminds me why I thought about going back to banking. The review is up for BioShock Infinite. I highly encourage you to check it out. I also have some very, very fascinating chats with Ken Levine about the making and the content that is inside BioShock Infinite. That should be the chat this week while we're off at GDC hustling to get you more stuff. Stay tuned. There's tons of stuff coming up on the site. You don't want to miss it.
Oh my God!